And we are live.
Yes, we are.
For the first time in 2024, Jenny Winny and the Average Dude.
Woo!
First episode of 2024. Jenny, are you excited?
Listen, we're going to do some great things this year.
I can feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Forget about last year. This is a new year.
It's done.
New direction, new opportunities, new exciting people to talk to.
Yep.
Are you ready for 2024, Jenny? I mean, just in general.
Well, I'm trying.
You're trying?
I'm trying. I'm ready.
That's weak. That is.
No, I'm trying. I mean, I've got a lot of things in this head, and I'm like, you know what? I turned 50 this year.
Oh.
Yeah. So you put a little damper on the whole year.
Oh, no.
But
we're just getting started.
But you know what? It was funny. I can't remember what my daughter Maggie said to me the other day, but she says, you are in the something of my life. There's something where all of a sudden, like I'll be, usually, you know how you always say, oh, you're such a giver. You help everybody and this. And I've kind of got this a little bit of an attitude lately, where I'm like, not doing that. No. And she's all of a sudden, she's like, all right, Mom.
Yeah.
Like you have become like, I can't remember what she said, like the main attraction of your life or something like that. And I'm like,
wow. Okay. So no more Mr. Nice Guy, except no more Mr. Nice Girl.
Yeah. You got to, I've learned that it's like, yeah, you can't always be nice.
No, you can't. Now, let me ask you this. Do you do the whole resolutions thing? Do you say, hey, this year I'm going to do this?
I'm going to start running and I'm going to start. No.
Yeah. You don't do that?
Well, to me, it's like, no. Yeah. And it's funny, and let me tell you why I say stuff like that. Like, okay, let's just say, like when I'm talking, I've even said this with my mom. I've said it with other people, and they're like, "I'm going to start a diet on Monday."
Yes, the diet starts tomorrow.
I hate that. I've always hated when people say that.
Yeah.
You know what? Start right now. I'll say, you know what? Start right now. It could be Wednesday. Well, today, Thursday. Well, you know what? I'm just going to go through this weekend, and I'll start my diet on Monday. No.
Oh, yeah.
Start making good choices right now. So I'm kind of like that one person. I mean, don't start working out on January the 1st, start when you are motivated, get on it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. But sometimes just having that date, hey, because if you get started, it's better than not starting at all. Right.
True. Yeah.
So if it's like, okay, ready, set, go, I think that's better than not doing it at all.
Oh, I do.
I mean, it's something to kind of shoot for. Now I used to feel the same way, but now this year I was looking for some momentum for myself, and I was like, what is going to be my New Year's deal? And I wasn't sure what it was going to be, and I don't typically do that, but it hit me. It hit me on January 1st, Jenny. You know what it is?
Tell me.
10,000 steps per day.
Okay.
Get the little Fitbit out, track the steps. And the reason that I like that is it keeps you moving. Mm-hmm. I like those things. I like those things that you do one thing and it leads to other things, right?
Yep.
So you Joe got in. Joe found us. We're streaming Jenny Winny and the Average Dude page now.
Yes, Joe. What's up, Joe? I feel like it's been forever, Joe.
Yeah. Well, what will be nice is to hear Joe's comments. I know Joe is part of a networking group similar to what we have going on here in South Carolina. Of course, he's up in the Massachusetts, Boston area. Back to my steps. Let me finish the thought.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Daniel.
But I like the steps because it's something to shoot for every day. 10,000. You get to track it. It's like a little win, and I love to walk and just kind of. It's a good time to be present, to listen to audio, to think. So I'm excited about having.
You also, Daniel, are you a little like OCD? Because I know, we do come from the same bloodline.
Right.
And, so it's like I am. And so if I were to make a deal with myself and say, this year I'm going to do this, see, my OCD will make me do it.
Right.
It will make me do, just because I said I would. And then after that, I can't not do it. So, you know what I mean?
Well, there you go. Well, then maybe the key then is just picking the right things where it's not like you're killing yourself, but because I know I'm going to have a pretty decent year if I get 10,000 steps each day, because there's right. so many things that come into play. So that's my 2024. We've got a lot going on today. Okay. We've got 3 guests.
Yes.
They all come from the Spartanburg Industrial Network Group. So happy to call these folks friends, to have them in our business network. So we're going to talk a little bit about networking. We're going to get to know each of them individually.
Because they're all in different aspects professionally, but they're all part of the industrial networking group.
That's right. Yes, that's right. So we're going to talk a little bit about how we can leverage, how each of the listeners can leverage themselves in a networking group and how that sort of thing works. We're going to get to know some great people. And hey, I see the Manufacturing Master try the Industry 4.0 Club for manufacturing. It's free and great. There you go. Now, Joe, I can't have you using our space here to market your.
That's not Joe's.
Joe,
you know what I will say? Joe is all about sharing, promoting each other. You know what I mean? That's what we're kind of doing here today too. It's like, hey, we're all
absolutely.
That's what networking's about.
We appreciate you, Joe. So absolutely. Let's get to the guest. Guest number 1 is with Ready Group. And I didn't know anything about Ready Group, and maybe y'all don't either. So we're going to talk to Cassie Stidham about Ready Group. And welcome to the show, Cassie.
Hey, how are you?
Doing good. I'm
not
used to seeing you not on Friday mornings. So I see Cassie every Friday morning, but not on Thursday.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to say, too, that I already like that Ready part of it, because I should own stock in Ready Whip. And that's how it's spelled. But, it's embarrassing because I go and I buy at least 9 or 10 cans every time I go to the grocery store.
Hey, it helps you out, right? You got to do that.
Free. I have to have it. I mean, it's like a drug. So anyway, I digress.
Yeah. So Cassie, you work with Ready Group, and where is Ready Group located?
Our main office for our USA division is in Greenville, South Carolina. Okay. So that's actually where I'm at today, in my office here in Greenville.
Gotcha. And how long have you been with Ready Group?
I personally have been with Ready Group for 5 years. Ready Group is a family-owned German company, and we actually came to the USA in 2008. So we've been operating since 2008 right here in the USA.
Gotcha. Yeah, and can you give us I know we're going to put you to the test here. Can you give us a little bit of the Ready Group kind of summary? I was trying to explain more site surveys, more steps there. I've got to pull this up. I'm sorry, I saw this comment. So Cody, who's in the HVAC business, he says more site surveys equals more steps, and he's absolutely right.
He's not wrong, Cody.
You know, Cassie. You know, working at Ready Group, some of these buildings that they're building now, they are huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can walk miles a day just getting in and out of facilities. So yeah, absolutely.
You get 10,000 steps at one place.
Absolutely. You walk from one end to the other and you're about there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like Noah's Ark. So.
Yeah. Yes.
So Cassie, tell us a little bit about Ready Group.
All right, so just an overview, what Ready Group does, and I also, of course, love the name Ready because I kind of like to use that as we're always ready for whatever the customer may want to bring to us. Yeah. So we are a quality service provider for the manufacturing industry. We support our customers by setting up, maintaining, and improving quality processes. So whatever that might mean to our customer, whatever their need may be. I always tell people to give us a call. We'll see what we can do once you tell us your story. So,
so I know you guys are working with BMW. A lot of people are familiar with BMW. And what do you guys do for BMW?
We do a multitude of things. We help them in the yard, what we call the yard team. That's moving vehicles in and out for them. Whatever they may need to go out to sit in the yard until that vehicle is ready to come back in. They give us a list of VINs, and we're the ones that place those vehicles out or bring them back in for people as it comes.
Gotcha.
And we've been doing that for years with BMW. They are a great customer.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
awesome.
we may help with that. We may help with quality service inspections. We may help with logistics, any aspect of manufacturing, any aspect of rework, quality, things like that.
Got it. Awesome.
Are y'all like a middle man person, or do you have the people on site that does it, or do you resource finding it?
We have our people. Our people work for Ready Group. They are Ready Group associates. So it depends on what the need is. We also can help people find, if someone says, hey, I need, a warehouse manager, or I need someone to come work with us and run, be a facility manager or an engineer. We can also place people in those sort of salary positions as well. But most of our associates do work for us.
Gotcha. Okay.
Awesome.
Yes.
All right. Well, we're going to leave you here, and we're going to invite Mr. Brian Lawrence to the stage or to the broadcast.
Hey, good. I sort of say good afternoon, but good morning.
Yes.
And you're just catching up. You're just catching up, Daniel. I already do the 10,000 steps a day thing.
Oh, yeah. Just one more thing you wanted to beat me at, right, Brian?
Yeah, well, it's early. Maybe more.
Hey, I'm getting a little bit of feedback. Is LinkedIn open on your end?
I don't know.
Yeah. Is it like you have 2 mics open?
No, I do not. Just my laptop.
Do you have LinkedIn open?
There it is. Well, no, that was him muting it.
If you mute, we're good. How
about that?
Yeah, we're still getting a little feedback.
You're good. When we talk, we echo back.
Oh. I don't know. I mean, the only thing I have open is your StreamYard.
Yep. So
If you go to
might be a microphone problem.
wait a second. I'm going to mute you 1 second. Okay. And so actually, Brian, if you go to your settings at the bottom of StreamYard and then click on audio, just make sure that your mic and speaker are both maybe the default. And then I don't know, that might do it.
Audio.
The settings and then audio.
Yeah,
and
there you go. That's Jenny Winnie's always got her eyes on all the gadgets.
Let's see here.
Some are on default. So how's that work?
Okay.
It's a little better.
Right. Okay.
Well.
Oh, do you have a separate let me mute you. Do you have a separate camera on your device, Brian, or is it built into the computer?
No, I'm just using the camera, the default settings in the laptop. I've unplugged everything else.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Hey, I don't know how it's doing that.
Okay.
Well, bear with us 1 second here, Brian.
I tell you what we're going to do.
Okay, Jenny.
Brian, we're going to disconnect you from the studio. Maybe it was when we were fixing the camera and all that. Have you go out, come back in. In the meantime, we'll bring Matt in, and then we'll bring Brian back in. Okay? Let's see. Wait, you go ahead and say that one more time.
Try me. I just changed it to a different setting. Is that any better?
Yes,
No.
Great.
It's got
We're just going to throw you out of the studio. And I mean, we're kicking you right out, Brian, just kicking you out. Anyway,
Sorry, Brian.
if you'll just log right back in, a lot of times when people have these issues, that usually remedies it right up. So we'll do that, and then we'll bring Matt on, and then we'll try it again.
Yeah. All right.
Perfect. Let's see here.
Okay. All right. So, hey, live stuff. This is the sort of thing that happens, but we roll with it.
And I brought Matt on.
Just like that, Brian turned into magically. It went from Brian to Matt. Matt, welcome to Jenny, Winny, and the Average Dude.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well,
listen, Matt, I'm gonna need a woohoo! Yes, thank you so much. On Dream. Thank you for letting this be happening today.
Yeah. Well, hey, what I would say, Matt, I appreciate you being in the ING group, and Matt is one of the best connectors that I've ever met, Jenny. I mean, not only does he know a lot of people, he knows how to introduce you to new people, and that's what networking is all about.
Yeah,
right? Getting the chance to meet new people, and Matt is fantastic at that. Where does that come from, Matt Venuta?
My dad and brother are both in sales together. I started my career in the customer service business and the hotel business, and the hospitality business.
Oh, wow. That's
I
cool.
got a degree from Clemson in that business. So I think a lot of experience in hospitality and service has helped connecting people in a unique way with the ING.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now, go ahead, Jenny. I wanted to ask Matt about his customer service, but go ahead. You got a question? You go.
I got a question. So with the hospitality business, which I know that's not exactly what you do maybe now, but this is just curiosity. What kind of things do they teach you when you major in something like that? I'm just wondering.
So at Clemson, we were mostly the study of tourism and tourism trends. The University of South Carolina does teach a hospitality program, so you can major in that.
South Carolina, probably not as good.
Probably not as good now.
I mean, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah.
But, honestly, the internships that I did at a couple different resorts, and then once I got out of school, the training and the real life activity is what made the difference.
Really?
When you're dealing with customers that are spending their hard-earned dollars to travel from Michigan with their families for 16 hours to Myrtle Beach, their expectations for service, even 10 years ago was very high.
Yep.
Now the hotel business is completely different. I'm sure they struggle like everybody else with staff, and the bigger you are, the bigger your problems are. Also cost structures, maintaining those. But we were a seasonal resort, so it was hard to maintain like continuity amongst employees, right? We would have this big bell curve in terms of the number of people in the hotels and then the number of staff that we were able to provide that level of service. So we had like a seasonal based staff that ended up being, 75% of our staff. And we would staff up to 100% from Memorial Day to Labor Day.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Matt, tell them about the towels. You were telling me about the towels and the amount of money that's spent on towels. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, one of the resorts I was at was Compass Cove in Myrtle Beach, and it's about 530 rooms.
Yeah.
Just the linen inventory with the towels was like $1 million a year to replace the linens, right? But people would take these, we would have pool towels, right? There was actually like 20 something pools on site there, right? At a water slide. I think people would take them to the beach and we'd end up losing the towels and we'd have to replace them constantly. I don't know if the people were taking the linens home. I mean,
some of them were, I can guarantee that.
I know people take the soap and stuff, and we try to limit that only if people like asked or only if it needed to be replaced. Now
that's quite the connection. Joe says Venuta in Italian means to come and be ready. Fits in well with Cassie being ready group.
There you go.
Who knew?
It's those kind of connections that Joe's great for.
Joe also go around.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, that's pretty. I always wondered about that because I people say, my mom and I, we have a business together, and we would go to Atlanta often. And one of the guys, he was like I want to say he was like the manager of this really nice restaurant that we always were at, and he catered to us and everything, but he was in the hospitality industry and that's what he went to school for. And I always wondered, what is it? What did they, how do they teach you to have that kind of, to me, it's like either you got it or you don't, or some people just like not cut out for that at all.
Yeah. I think you kind of have to have the knack to connect with people.
Yeah.
You got to have a lot
why you're good at this.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have a lot of patience, kind of like with sales. Customers can be very challenging. Honestly, this type of sales that we're in now is a lot easier than the hospitality business was.
Yeah.
Well, what was tough about the hospitality business? And Cassie, I've got a question for you, but Cassie, let me ask you this: have you ever been in the hospitality business?
Yes, well, more customer service, I guess. It was, food, dealing with food.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, one of my first supervisor roles was as a general manager at a pizza restaurant many years
Oh,
ago.
oh yeah.
Yeah, but I have that background in marketing and business management. And I actually did really enjoy it. And it seems like no matter what, customer service is the same. It just changes with whatever you're doing. But you still, I've always went by that the customer is always right motto. So, that's what brings the business back. That's what keeps people satisfied. So you got to do that, right? So,
Yes. Now, what about dealing with customers now that y'all have both moved into this kind of manufacturing and industrial? Does some of the same things still apply when we're talking about a different customer in a different position, or is it some of the same principles?
We got Brian back too, just so you know.
okay. Yeah, I think absolutely the same principles apply. Once again, I think as long as you are open with your customer, have lots of discussions, make sure that their needs are being met. That's the number one most important thing. You never know what that might lead to.
And I think too, do you agree that it's like you said, making sure their needs are met? And let's just say that you can't meet my need or whatever, or like Matt, if whatever, like I think about in hospitality, it means a whole lot to me that at least you're trying to. I mean, some things are, it's beyond my control. I'm sorry. You've used $1 million worth of towels, people. We don't have any pool towels, but at least I'm trying. You know what I mean? It's like, at least you're trying to do that. That goes a long way too.
Absolutely. I agree.
You're smiling right now. It's kind of like, when if somebody's asking you for something and you greet them that way, that goes a long way too, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And I agree with what Matt said about, I think that really with customer service, with hospitality, with things like that in business, I think the real world experience probably goes a long way, like getting out there and actually knowing what you need to do day to day.
Yep.
Absolutely. Let's give Brian Lawrence a try here.
On Brian's microphone, I went in there on his too. And, from our background here, I went in, checked echo cancellation, reduce background noise. So maybe that'll help. We'll see.
Okay. Brian.
Is that any better?
Woo!
Okay.
It's good.
That's a yes.
I can't tell you how happy I am to hear Brian without that feedback. So Brian Lawrence, welcome to Jenny, Winny, and Amber's Dude.
Thank you for having me.
I know.
Well, hey, so I was trying to describe to Jenny earlier exactly what Brian does. Now I need the condensed version, Brian. Can I
tell you something that I even said to Daniel after he described you a little bit, Brian? I was like, are you sure that he wants to speak with me and you?
Yes.
Yeah. So, Brian, tell us a little bit about what you do.
Well, I am the COO and CIO and CTO for a company called Renovo Energy, LLC. My background is in physics and designing advanced lighting technologies. I've been in that for about 25 to 30 years, and I left the company that I helped start about 18 years ago, which was one of the most advanced technology companies in the world, manufacturing R&D for advanced lighting technologies. That's everything from LED as it became in the marketplace, energy efficiency, sustainability, all the way to biological lighting that deals with killing viruses in the air. We develop lighting that's developed especially for special needs individuals, special needs children, that eliminated the subvisible flicker and strobing effect out of light. That is the cause and effect for
like seizures and stuff, or
seizures. Yeah, we were one of the first companies to be able to eliminate that. We produce lighting that can stop the production of melatonin. So for like areas where you can't let your people, nurses stations, nuclear facilities where you don't want to get sleepy on second and third shift, we develop lighting that can stop the production of melatonin. They can't get drowsy. So we took that back.
I'm going to need that in my house. Just saying. Go ahead.
Got it. We'll bring it over tomorrow.
Jenny.
I'm going to need that.
But I sort of retired from that company, and my son owns a company which I've been fortunate enough to be able to work with him now in Renovo Energy. Renovo Energy is utilizing all of our experiences. There's a bunch of engineers here, a bunch of application people here, R&D here. So Renova Energy has two separate divisions. One is a sustainability energy efficiency division that works closely with major utility companies like Duke Energy and the federal government, the Department of Energy, incentive applications to provide LED lighting upgrades to facilities, which oddly enough can be done for almost no money. Most people don't realize that. So large industrial facilities utilizing the utility company rebates and the federal incentives can do it, can upgrade, meet their sustainability goals, get the better lighting, and for the most part, not have to pay for it. Yeah. We also work with EV battery charging applications, installing EV batteries in infrastructure. Like everyone's going to EV batteries, EV forklifts, EV cars, EV, all kind of stuff in there, but the infrastructure isn't there for that. So we handle not only the units, but the infrastructure as well. Also, our energy efficiency division and sustainability division does commercial and industrial solar. Austin, my son, and his team work mostly in that area. And there, what I've really been able to enjoy this year is we have a fire and life safety division. And what we brought to the marketplace is the first ever AI-based, totally autonomous emergency lighting and signage, self-testing, and self-reporting systems.
Oh, okay. That's what Dave was telling me about. Yeah.
Yeah. And so all those little emergency lights in your industrial facilities and office buildings and schools and
we go press the button to make sure.
Right. Jenny, why don't you tell him what you were telling me? So you and Barry have this building.
Well, my husband, he's an electrical contractor, you know, and so he does do some commercial facilities. He does residential too, but I'll go with him sometimes so that we can check all those exit signs, you know, and so we go in there, you know, you're pressing it, you're checking the battery, you know, shutting everything down, making sure it comes on, you know, that kind of thing. So this is just something that just automatically checks it itself.
Correct. So there are brand new codes that took effect in 2023 that enforce the NFPA and fire codes, which is what you're talking about.
Yep.
And emergency light testing, pushing that button, is one of the few things that overlaps in every code, from electrical code, fire code, building codes. They're all exactly the same thing, and they require monthly testing at a certain interval.
Yep.
Right. Our technology, and tell your husband to give me a call, because we'll actually sell it wholesale too, so we can get it for him and he can install it to all his customers. So what we do is we provide it for facilities that have tens of thousands of units, turnkey, and we provide all that information is done automatically. The units self-test themselves and email the results to us. Either we email those results to the authority having jurisdiction or back to the customer. That would be for colleges, universities, hospitals, and things like that. But for your husband's business, we actually will sell it wholesale to him, and he can put it into a building that's got, let's say, 100 units.
Right.
They'll automatically program, they'll automatically self-test and download themselves to a single unit in the building, where he can just go take that off of that unit, and you never ever touch the units again.
It'll let you know, hey, XYZ building, this is not working.
Right. It scrubs itself 24/7. So it's analyzing its health if there's any issues or anomalies 24/7, and then it runs the code mandated compliance testing once a month, and then files that report.
That's interesting.
I think it's a fantastic product, but I'm thinking about AI in general. Do y'all think, Cassie and Matt, do y'all think we might be wearing devices in the future that are going to keep a track, similar to the way that these lights work? They're going to keep track of your blood pressure and your heart rate and other things. Do you think that we might see AI that does something similar to what these fire exit signs are doing?
Yeah.
What do you think, Matt?
I'm sure it's going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Just a way, like you say, it's a way to collect the data, right, Brian?
Yeah.
To self-check and to report back to a location to let you know what's going on.
We think these things are absurd or outlandish, but it's like, I remember seeing a movie, I don't know what it was, but when the woman, like just in the bathroom, like when she'd go to the bathroom, it would say no pregnancy hormone detected after she would go to the bath. You know what I'm saying? It was that far advanced, and we go, well, that's insane. But it will actually probably get to that point where it's like, oh, blood detected in urine, or I don't know. But I'm just saying, yes. I mean,
well, in our case, we have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of units testing every day across the country. right? So we can't read each one of those. So we have a proprietary AI system that analyzes all that data as it comes into us. And we can I'll send somebody out immediately if there's one that's in peril, or if we have one that fails. But that way we're able to scrub that information constantly, 24/7.
That's pretty interesting.
So let's talk. Thank you, Brian. Let's talk a little bit about networking and kind of your experience with the Industrial Network Group. Cassie, I'm going to start with you since we brought you on first. Talk a little bit about why you guys joined a networking group and kind of what you've experienced thus far being a part of the one that we have. What's working, what's not, type deal.
Okay, yeah. So I think I joined around October, and so far it's been great. There's been a lot of events, a lot of networking events going on. Great people that are a part of this networking, and something for Ready Group. What we seen was an opportunity to get to know the Spartanburg area more. Of course, our office is in Greenville. But we see how much this area as a whole, Spartanburg, Greenville, is just growing. Yeah, it's growing so much opportunity, so much career opportunity. Yep. We see a lot going on in manufacturing in this area right now, of course. So we just wanted to be a part of that. We wanted to get out there and get to know people better and let people know us and know what we do.
That's right.
It can be a great asset for people. Yeah.
Yeah. Just getting that message about who we are and then who are our targets and then all that information flow. I love that. Matt Venuta, how long have you been part of a networking group?
I joined in, 2022, but I didn't get as active until Daniel kind of asked me to be a co-coordinator, which was sometime last year, middle of last year. So it's been very beneficial in our opinion. Like a lot of our members that have been around a long time, you get what you put in. If you put a lot of energy into anything and you're passionate about it, then, it'll pay dividends, right? We've gotten into some places that, we were looking to get into, which is very beneficial.
Yeah, I've got to tell one quick story, one quick win that Matt and I had. And these are the sorts of things that we do that turns out good. So Matt, myself, and then one other person that's in our networking group, we met for coffee. And we were sitting there about drinking coffee, talking about all these great things that we could do together. And I can't remember if it's Matt or myself. We said, well, why don't we go call on some people instead of sitting here?
Oh, yeah.
Let's go talk to some people. So Matt, we just went right across the street. We're right there on 290 in Duncan. We went across the street. He knew someone at a facility. I didn't know this person, but Matt had me drive around to the back. The guy comes out. I end up meeting the guy. So we'll fast forward. That was about 4 months ago. We'll fast forward. My biggest PO of the year came from that company because of that interaction.
Wow. Okay, I got a question then about that, Daniel, because y'all are all in this networking group together.
Yep.
And by the way, it's Industrial Network.
Industrial Network Group. That's right.
ING. That's ING. That's what I know. But now, do you think it was more beneficial that Matt was with you and took you in and introduced you instead of taking the phone and said, hey, I need you should talk to Daniel?
Matt, what do you think? I'll let Matt answer the question. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I think that was beneficial because we have a very good rapport with that customer. So they trust us a lot in certain situations. They also have to be willing to do stuff like that. You can't do that, in every industrial facility in the upstate, unfortunately. If you did that at BMW, you're probably going to be in the jail in Greer.
Get around.
Yeah. So,
we were at the rear of the facility. We didn't go in the front door.
Yeah, we definitely went around back. And then we actually got into the plant for a brief moment too. But that's a very situational thing. But that's just some of the things that the industrial networking group can do for individuals trying to grow their business. If you think that it's going to be, we're going to go in, we're all going to share leads and everybody's going to get business. It's some of that, but it's more of building relationships with people that you like. And the more people that you like, Daniel and Cassie and Brian, you feel more comfortable introducing them to your current customers or even meeting prospects as well.
Yes, I agree, Matt. I mean, what we have, Jenny, it's relationship sales. You know, I'm not introducing Matt who's going to try to sell some gadget or widget, and it's going to be a wham bam. Thank you, ma'am. I'm sorry, that's the only thing that came to my mind. But it's not going to be a quick transactional thing, right? It's going to be a relationship. It's going to be an introduction to someone that you don't know, just like he introduced me to Eddie at that plant. And then Eddie's boss got introduced to me through Eddie, and then that's the way that the relationship goes. But so we just try to attract those people that we don't know into the room. So if I can get somebody to come to a meeting that Cassie doesn't know, well, then she's going to get a chance to meet that person. Or we go out to their location. Hey, Cassie, do you want to go with me on the appointment? Or we're meeting for lunch, right?
Yes.
And it's like, hey, just come to me. And to answer your question, I think sometimes it softens it to have multiple things, so they don't feel that pressure. That if they're sitting with me, they're like, oh my God, he's going to talk about HVAC the whole time that we're here, you know? Okay. And so if you've got a variety, it kind of like what we're doing here, everybody's contributing to the conversation.
And honestly, you know, you were with ING, like you've been there forever. And I remember, and I always have wondered about networking things because I've gone to a few like chamber events and stuff like that, you know. Right. But I will say there is something to it, because since doing this with you and the people that I have met through talking on the show or just introduce, it's now I really, and I've utilized those connections. It's funny because I never thought that, but it might have put me with a connection that they knew someone. Hey, and so I can see that's what it's all about, honestly.
That's right. There's degrees of separation. So you might say, well, this person doesn't know the types of people. Well, they know people, and human beings are where the connections are made. And so I always say, they say, who do you need to know in the facility? Anybody in that facility. If you know anybody, that's one more person than I know. Brian, what's your experience with networking?
I know. I'm trying to figure out, Brian, you look like somebody famous, and I don't know. Maybe it's you. Maybe you are famous, and I don't know. But I'm just saying.
I'm just really old. You know, once you get really old, we all look alike.
Yeah. You look like somebody. I'm like, who is?
Once you cross 70, we all look exactly alike.
Dad? No, I'm just But I'm sorry, Daniel. I messed up the question. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I was just asking Brian. I know that he really was. This one of your first networking groups that you were a part of, or tell us your experience with ING and kind of how you.
Yes, Dan. Because the company I was with before, we were tied heavily to the government and international businesses, and we had operating facilities all across the world. And so basically, we didn't need to generate new business. It was just, you know, fulfilling what we were told to do, basically, in those applications. But coming over to Renewable Energy, my son's company, you know, we had to create new contacts. And what we were finding, and I used to consult with the Department of Energy, the CDC, in different applications. And one of the benefits we have is that we have a lot of knowledge information up front, changes in code. So I currently consult with the South Carolina State Fire Commission, the fire department, on new technology, new code requirements. I had the opportunity to have lunch with Daniel and Matt the other day about a whole new section that we've been asked to consult with on them that impacts EV charging and the thing called thermal runaway for all as this grows. And actually this information that I'll share tomorrow, Cassie, if you're coming, may help Ready Group and what some of the things they do, because there are no codes for this. Codes are being written as we speak.
So can I give the average dude explanation of what you're talking about, Brian, and then you tell me where I'm go wrong, okay?
You tell the accurate one, Brian, and Daniel, you tell it.
Because I learned about this, and I think it's so interesting. So all of these electric vehicles, everything from buses to forklifts to cars, right? That have these electric vehicles have these batteries.
Yeah,
and these batteries are very combustible, and they call it thermal runoff. If one of them was to go haywire, and basically there's no way to put the fire out, Jenny, right? So they've got, if one does combust,
that's scary.
Right. So what Brian is doing is working with the local fire marshal, because he's already talking to him about the exit signs, right, Brian?
Correct. Yeah. So I actually do a training session quarterly with all the state fire marshals.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Right. So he's talking to him about the exit sign and that sort of thing. But then there's this other need that folks are just now starting to catch on to the fact that, hey, this thing, this fire, we're not going to be able to put it out. We need we need help in that regard. So Brian's great about that forward thinking and where are things headed and what do we need to do.
And we're talking about like the cars, like, we plug them in, the ones.
Well, let me give you a quick example. I didn't need to go off down this path all by itself, but because ING is important to us because we're able to pull from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're in those facilities and we're consulting with them, not only what we do, but here are some other codes that you need to. October 13th of this year, OSHA started a whole new focus program for all industrial facilities where the fines are in the hundreds of thousands of dollars per light per day. There's no way for these facilities to know all these things.
Yeah.
So we start out as a consultant. You need to do this. You need to do that. So
because what needs to be done. You know the code.
Right. And we don't do it all, but we're able to add to our value by being able to bring in people from ING that can address these things.
That's right.
They don't. The facilities people don't know where to go. They don't. This stuff exists, and they don't know where to go get it. That's part of our job. But so let me give you an example. If you can think about what Daniel's talking about, you think about an EV car, and they talk about the EV battery. It's not a battery. That's depending on the size of the car, between a small one, a short distance, to a larger Tesla with longer distance, to a Lightning truck at Ford, it will have between 6,000 and 9,000 individual batteries that combine to make the EV battery. If one of those ruptures for about 4 dozen different reasons, it causes a chain reaction for all of them, right? It's called thermal runaway.
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay. That makes sense then. Okay.
The fire cannot be put out by water or chemical. It's a chemical fire. It's extremely toxic, right? So when in Europe, and we do a lot of business with the EU, in Europe, they have the percentage of EV cars to ICE cars is much higher. So this has become a huge industry there.
You would think that would have to be set in place before you could even use one of these things.
Well, so the U.S., the NFPA, and South Carolina do not have current codes. That's what we're helping them right now. Yeah. And for the first time ever, South Carolina is talking about doing an interim code update for this. So, for instance, UL just did a test on a e-scooter, right? So you got kids in dormitories. So they park their scooter and take the battery up to their room and plug it in. So just this past fall, Underwriters Laboratory did a test. They mocked up a dorm room and they plugged in the small little battery that powers the e-scooter, right? When it charged, they just left it in like we all do. We plug our lithium-ion batteries. This is all unique to lithium-ion, right? We plug them in and we just leave them plugged in. So once that battery reached full charge, they just left it in like any student would do in a dorm room.
Yeah, my husband, he's like, you don't do that. He won't let me leave something in.
Right. Okay. So exactly at 1 hour and 43 minutes after the full charge indication, it started to smoke. Within 20 seconds, it ignited, went from 0 to 1,000 to 1,100 degrees in a matter of seconds and exploded, blew the windows out of the dorm. So if you were in that room, you're dead, right? So if you think about that times a bunch, let's say an EV in a parking garage, right? So an ICE car, if it catches on fire, internal combustion engine burns at about 1,000 degrees. An EV car can burn up to 4,000 degrees. Concrete spalls or explodes at 250 degrees. So, I mean, there's, again, just like the chargers, the infrastructure for codes are not in. Those are coming.
Because at the airport, I'm at the airport in Charlotte a good bit.
Right.
I go up on that hourly parking on the top deck. There are all these plugged in, you know what I mean? And when you say that, I'm like, okay, I'm on the 7th floor. One of them combusts. I'm not going to make it.
Well, you're better on the 7th floor with it than on the 1st floor because you can't get out.
True. I was thinking that. That's why I did it. So that's why
I'm So it's so interesting. So what's so interesting, Jenny, as we talk, as you see, we just have 3 of 30 people
And y'all were all from different backgrounds. That's what's so cool.
Well, and then how they all kind of come together. So of course, Brian's talking about these batteries. Matt, you're in the recycling business. Tell us how EV batteries kind of flow into your world and how you handle those, right? I mean, don't you, that something that you discuss from time to time?
And Daniel, give me time for something I want to quiz them on real quick.
Okay. All right.
We're setting up the kind of like Brian is with Brian's at like the tip of the spear helping the fire marshals, right? Because they deal with a lot of the fires. We're another part of that tip of the spear where, batteries are going to flow into metal recycling plants. They're going to flow into parts yards, like when you sell your car for parts. So we've got to set up the systems and the facilities to handle those. As Brian knows, the batteries are can be extremely flammable. So they've got to be, usually there's a switch on the battery. If it's in the car, that'll switch the battery off, kind of the same way you would pull a circuit board. So once you do that, you take the power off. No different than hitting the light switch in your house.
Right.
Then you can safely remove the battery pack, and then the battery pack will be able to go to a recycling facility. Hopefully in the next year or so, the industry will have facilities in the U.S. that will recycle from soup to nuts these batteries and what they call the black mass, which is the little batteries Brian was talking about, all ground up, right? But we would work in conjunction with Brian and the state fire marshals and anybody that has to do with battery recycling from ourselves. We're working with Department of Commerce. They're having a meeting in February, which is part of the Automotive Alliance. So we'll probably do some tours at our facility. And
so
also
it's a beautiful thing. Sorry to it's everybody's connected. Cassie, I didn't know anything about Ready Group. I know,
but I'm thinking like, Cassie, you could have a facility. They call you're ready for anything. And they're like, we have this, what are we going to do? And you're like, hey, I know someone who's working on the code.
This is what I was talking about with Cassie for Ready Group. I mean, what we work on is the charging stations and the infrastructure. But take BMW.
That's what I was going to say.
I've heard, this is not accurate, but I've heard that if they're shut down, they lose $1 million or $10 million a minute or some insane amount of whatever, right? So if you have a e-mobility vehicle, let's say an e-forklift, and it just barely bumps into something, you've got a high percentage probability of this. So being able to go around and verify, check the battery status of each of these things on a daily basis, because the repercussion, lithium-ion batteries, when they burn, it's highly toxic. They would have to clear everybody out of the buildings and break the whole thing down. And the battery, you can't put it out. It's going to burn for 3 to 4 days until it eventually exhausts itself.
It's going to be a big deal. Jenny, I want to hear what Jenny's got planned for us. We've only got 10 minutes left.
I know, so we're not really going to get to do it, but whatever. It doesn't matter. We're still going to do it. So this is what, because I figured we got different personalities here.
Yeah.
Kind of like the thing we've done before with the little ink blot. What do you see?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I'm kind of wanting to see what the first thing you see in whatever I show you, what it says about you. Now, it might not really be true, but we're still going to do it. So anyway, Here we go. So, all right, y'all, here's the first slide. What's the first thing you see? Now, don't try to figure it all out. Just what was the first thing you noticed?
Oh, wow.
A bird.
Okay.
Matt, what did you see?
No, pig's nose.
Okay.
And, Brian.
Chick-fil-A.
Okay, Brian's the winner. Okay.
Let me be honest. I mean, it looks like a chicken. I just immediately thought I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking Chick-fil-A now too. I see a lion.
Wow, that is amazing, y'all. I'm sorry. This test is proven fact. Okay, so I agree with you, Cassie. That's what I saw was like a bird. I saw a bird.
Yeah.
Okay. That is, and this is what it supposedly says. If you saw the bird, it's creative, imaginative, your desire to make the world better. That's your focus. A
Awesome.
lion.
That's Ready Group's mission.
Oh,
Yeah.
What, if I saw a lion, what does that mean about me?
And see, I see that. So Matt, you saw those nostrils, which
Yep.
I'm going with that you're kind of the lion also, because it took me a minute to see the lion, but also it's like that isn't courageous. You can be stubborn, but it says you're also fearless.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, that's a good.
It says if
What
you see
about if you
Chick-fil-A,
see Chick-fil-A?
it says that you're like the most intelligent person in the world. I don't know. Okay. So that was amazing because honestly, I thought we're all going to see the bird. It's so obvious,
Yeah.
but clearly it's not.
Interesting. All right. Do another one.
Can I do another one?
Sure.
All right. Well, I'm going to. First thing you saw.
Person's mouth.
The bottom half of a person's face. Yeah.
I see a dot going into somebody's mouth.
I'll tell you, the first thing I thought of, because of all the stuff that we do with the CDC, is somebody taking a pill.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Y'all are
What
some
do you-
deep, deep thinkers.
What-
We all saw the mouth, pretty much.
Yeah.
Strong and independent. Do you see what the flip side would be? A rooster.
Oh,
Chick-fil-A. That's Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Brian,
oh,
clearly,
the rooster.
you're
Does it
not
have
that
a
drunk.
green-
The other one.
Close this up. It's just making me hungry.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, but we all saw. But okay, we all saw the mouth. Strong and independent. Here, okay, I'm just gonna. This is not about Chick-fil-A. The next one. Okay, I want to know what you see. First thing.
Oh, wow.
An apple core. Right.
Two people looking at each other.
Yeah.
Oh.
Brian. So fair. Brian has it in real life. Daniel,
Yeah.
what was the first thing you saw?
Yeah. Yeah, I saw the people. I don't know which one came first, the apple or the people, but I kind of saw them both at the same time.
Chick-fil-A or the egg? Which one came first, Daniel?
Chick-fil-A or the egg? I don't know. That always confused me.
Apple means you're happy and content. And then faces, if you see the faces, which like I see on here, somebody commented about the profile. You see the faces. Yep. Prioritize relationships. It makes me think of the networking. You prioritize those relationships.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Can
Well,
I
there
do one
you
more?
go. Yeah, do one more.
Okay. This was I skipped a bunch. So let me just get through to the last one. This is the one I thought was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Now, just the first thing you notice. Okay. First thing, Daniel.
Okay. Oh, wow.
But
The
don't
old
look.
man looks like Zeus.
I seen the horse first, so I see the person on the horse.
Yes. I did too, Cassie.
Yeah.
I see the person riding the horse first. Then,
Yeah.
if you look for the other one, you see the man.
Okay,
Mhm.
y'all. This is gonna get you.
Oh, no.
The man riding
Cassie,
the horse.
hold on.
The
We're
man
getting ready to
riding
get
the
you-
horse. Now, this is what these are just stupid little things, but the man riding the horse could be indicates a heart that is hard to tame. Okay.
Hmm.
The old man's face, which is what I saw also. Matt, you saw that too, didn't you?
Yep.
Never loses sight of the big picture.
See that, Daniel?
You see?
Never loses sight of the big picture. That's why he keeps me in line. You know, when I
Now,
want to start
Ron,
getting.
there was a little chicken in here, okay? But if y'all notice, this is two things I didn't notice. Do you see the woman laying down at the feet?
I did see her. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Some people say that indicates, oh, it's somebody that's been hurt. And then do you notice the stone arch? Well, you can't really see it on here. But anyway, there's a stone archway. But anyway, I thought that was neat because it's like as soon as I saw it, immediately all I saw was an old person. I mean, like an old man.
Well, it is a neat
Yeah.
little game, and I agree with you. But we have a variety of different companies. We've got a variety of different personalities, and it's that coming together of all these different perspectives. I mean, the one thing that I think that folks may miss, and y'all can tell me if I'm wrong. I mean, just from an educational standpoint, understanding all these different vendors and suppliers and things that go on in a manufacturing facility. of course, when I'm in front of a facility manager, I don't have to talk about HVAC. I can talk about whatever it is that he is thinking about, because we have other people in the group that know about these things, experts in the different disciplines and things that they do. Matt, do you agree with that?
I do. Sometimes when I'm prospecting and I meet with people at these facilities, I get down the rabbit hole on the ING stuff, but and don't go in there for my main job. But yeah, no, I totally agree with what you were saying.
Yeah, it's so interesting to learn. And so then you might hear about what Cassie's talking about. Then you're talking to someone within a facility, and they're talking about a similar company that they're maybe using or something like that. And there's just that familiarity with it, because I know Cassie, I know how it works, and I know what I can have a conversation with them. Cassie, what is your thoughts on that, and kind of learning about all the different things that go on?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, what we help with, it kind of goes back to Brian talking about the sustainability. We're just on the other side of that. It's the processes. So if a manufacturer needs us to come in and look at something that's going on, you know, what are their employees out there doing? How can we make that more efficient? How can we help you with that? How can we collect data for you for that? That's something that we can offer all of our customers, and they're always appreciative of that. But yeah, there's always, you know, once you get that connection and that relationship with somebody, there's always that opportunity. You know, they're going to tell you what they need or what maybe more of their needs are. So that, of course, goes into the ING of, hey, I know somebody that does that. So
yes. We
absolutely.
know at least one person that does just about everything in a facility.
It's kind of like too, that you don't go into a facility. It's kind of like a doctor going in and telling you, hey, I'm going to give you a prescription for this, and you hadn't even said what's wrong. You know what I mean? It's like, give the person long enough to tell you what they need, you know, then
absolutely make that connection. That's the most important part. Yep.
Yeah. Now I'll tell y'all a funny story about that. This was like right in the middle of it. I went out to a plant here, Fatessa in Simpsonville, but I went out there to meet somebody, didn't know anybody. And somebody picked up the phone. I wasn't expecting. He said, well, I'm actually at the building. I'll come over and meet you right now. Well, he came over, and I was so excited to have somebody that I could sell something to. I went straight into my commission breath sales pitch. You know what I mean? And I thought to myself, just what Cassie's saying, wait a minute, it's about the person, you know? And then I was like, hey, you know, who is it that I'm talking to, instead of me trying to start saying all these things. And it come to find out he was into AI. I've been studying a lot about AI. And so we ended up having this great conversation. But I do think that it's important. Brian, do you have trouble? Now you've got a lot of knowledge. Do you have trouble sometimes focusing on the other person, or do you find it easy to go straight into the pitch? Or are you thinking about Chick-fil-A?
I'm still thinking about Chick-fil-A. No, I mean, from my background, we have a sales staff here, a sales group.
Yeah.
You know, and they interact with people and network with people, you know, every day.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
And that's what they do. My background from the physics and the science and the consulting that I've done is more about the nuts and bolts, you know, and what we have found. Yeah. What we found is working with these all these large industrial facilities, all these facility managers, building owners, there's so many new codes, requirements, the directives, everything else. So they're being given words that are not specific. They're being told become sustainable.
Right.
Okay. Well, what does that mean?
What do you mean?
Yeah. What do you mean? Where do I tackle it? Well, the low hanging fruit's the lighting, but that doesn't get you everywhere you need to go. It's everything from what Cassie does to what Matt does. I mean, it's, you know, inside ING, we've got a guy with a truck with a thing on the back that crunches. I think it's the most marvelous thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think that is I was dumbfounded by that. I was like, that's amazing.
I mean, if the high level conversations that we have about AI, that we deal with, about code compliance and all the rest of it, right? That we can measure that, but with what's it called? Monster Smash, right? So if you think about who actually impacts the environment the most, and how does your dumpster become sustainable? So if you have your dumpster picked up like 3 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
And that's diesel gas taking it to the dump.
Yep.
Right. But if he comes along and smashes that 3 times a week,
yeah, that's an
now it
interesting
only gets
angle.
Yeah.
right. So if he can smash it to 25% each time, which he does, or even more,
Wow.
then you've got 4 times. You've just taken the landfill, and you've expanded the landfill 400%.
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
need to do like a little like promo video for them, Brian.
I know.
I mean, I was like,
but this is where ING works, because as we begin to all understand each other even better, you know, when the guy's going, I have to reach sustainability. You're the first guy. First people we're going to call is lighting. So we're going to reduce energy, and then we're going to produce energy through solar.
Yes.
But what other things can we do? And the vast majority of the time we sit there and say, well, you're probably 25% further than you think you are, because you don't know what to look for.
Yeah, you don't think of that thing. I didn't think about the diesel truck and this and that. And yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
and so I've learned so much about what the other members of ING, I've learned so much about what they do, like with Cassie and Ready Group. I think that this thing with the fire department and all these new codes, I guarantee you BMW doesn't know this yet, because it's not come out yet, because it's laying here on my desk to give to the state.
And look how good Cassie's going to look when she goes to them and says, let me tell you.
Well,
hey, we've got a lot to talk about. Hey, thanks so much.
Yeah, tomorrow's meeting. Y'all's meeting tomorrow is going to be fantastic. Okay.
It's going to be tomorrow morning. We're meeting, and love you guys. Appreciate you guys. I'm going to drop y'all off, and then we're going to have a little conversation here.
All right, y'all.
Close it out. See y'all.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. See ya.
Thanks.
Yeah. So, all right, one more, and we're done. So
That was
nice
awesome.
people, Matt, Brian, and Cassie.
And very topical issues. Yes.
If we haven't, we're gonna have. Yeah, absolutely. So, Jenny,
I missed you, Joe. I'm so glad you're here.
Next time we do something similar to that, next time we have multiple guests, we learn a little something, and we kind of figure out the flow. I'm so glad that Brian and his Chick-fil-A biscuit and that microphone started working. Yeah. I mean,
I know. And you know what? I didn't get to, you remember I said I had one question I wanted to ask one of the guests?
Yeah, I do remember. What was it? Now I'm going to try to answer.
Well,
just say it.
I got scared during it all of a sudden.
Did you get scared?
Yeah. It was for Matt. It was for Matt. And I just wanted to know if he realized that on LinkedIn his head is covering the S on scrap.
Oh.
And so the first thing I saw was crap metal. And I was like, well, that's an interesting name of a business. Crap metal. So anyway,
well,
I just said
he's going to look at that now. So,
yeah. I thought it was cool though. It made me laugh.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, we have another guest next week. We're revving up, ready to go. Right?
Yep, we've got a guest next week, a communication expert. He's here on LinkedIn. I connected with him through that. Excited to introduce you to him.
Absolutely.
And
big
Jenny,
things happening.
Big things happening. Going to have a great year.
Yep.
Thanks, everybody. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.